The early history of Nigeria is still shrouded in mystery. Who were the first settlers in this Niger area, and what happened to them? Actually, this mystery applies to the prehistory of most parts of the African continent. The difficulty might be because of the preliterate nature of many of the ancient civilizations. Though we know that back then in many Nigerian societies, there was a tradition of recording history orally. The problem with this oral tradition has been, on one hand, the inability to separate history from myths and legends, and on the other hand, the loss of traditional institutions during colonization. So, the little we now know about Nigerian prehistory has been gleaned from archaeological findings. I've created a simple chart of the chronological timeline of archaeological discoveries and the fascinating cultures and kingdoms that emerged during this period. And that's what we'll be using for this overview. I'll put a link to download the chart in the description. Please subscribe before you download the chart. Thank you. We'll start with the archaeological discoveries. Currently, the earliest confirmed sign of modern human presence in Nigeria is to be found at Iho Haleru, a large rock shelter in Ondo State in southwestern Nigeria. The skull found at this site has been carbon dated approximately 13,000 years old. From the human remains, animal remains, and about 500,000 stone tools that were excavated at the site, it was deduced that human activities such as hunting and eating of animals were carried out by these people back then in 11,000 BC. The next archaeological discovery is from circa 1600 BC, the Dufuna canoe, a dugout canoe discovered by a herdsman digging a well in Yoruba State in the northern part of Nigeria. Radiocarbon dating puts the canoe at about 8,000 years old, making it the oldest known boat in Africa and the second oldest worldwide after the Pesca canoe. It's believed that the area used to be part of Lake Chad's floodplain in the distant past, and the canoe may have been constructed by people who occupied an area extending from the Western Sahara to the Nile of central Sudan. Next, let's go southeast to the ancient town of Leja in Enugu State, where the discovery of pottery led to excavations that show human activities in that region around 4,000 years ago, 2000 BC. This prehistoric site contained iron smelting furnaces and slag, pottery, beads, stone tools, and other artifacts that show evidence of early agricultural practices and a community that was likely organized around an iron smelting economy. We come to one of the most popular civilizations in Africa. The Nok culture is currently considered one of West Africa's earliest civilizations. Nok, located around present-day Kaduna State, emerged circa 1500 BC, a little more than 3,500 years ago. Archaeological evidence shows that the Nok culture independently discovered how to smelt iron around the same time as Europe and the Middle East. But they are mainly celebrated for their amazing terracotta sculptures with intricate hairstyles and abundant jewelries. From the Nok sculptures, we see the beginning of the rich tradition of Nigerian art. Excluding ancient Egyptian figurative art, Nok sculptures are regarded as the most early, large figurative art in Africa. The Nok civilization seems to have disappeared around 500 CE. They are believed to have migrated out of the region because of the spread of the Sahara Desert and perhaps internal conflicts, and must have been absorbed by emerging civilizations in the region. Moving down to the east again, to the prehistoric archaeological site at Hopi, a community in Enugu State in the southeast area populated by the Igbo people. Iron smelting furnaces and slag discovered at this site have been dated to 750 BC, 2,700 years ago. Up north, Daima is a little-known archaeological site in Nigeria. This mound settlement is located near Lake Chad, very close to Nigeria's border with Cameroon. Radiocarbon dating of pottery, stone and iron tools, bronze, and human remains found at Daima revealed it existed from circa 550 BC till 1150 AD, and it was deduced from the analysis of the layers of the buried deposits that the site passed through 3 phases during its occupation. Daima 1 reveals a community of people without any metalwork, who herded cattle and grew sorghum. Daima 2 shows a people with the beginning of iron smelting knowledge, and Daima 3 reveals a community of people with a rich material culture, which included different kinds of exotic goods and materials. To the left of Daima, also in the north in Jigawa State, we'll find Dutsen Harbadi, a cave containing Neolithic paintings of cattle that bear strong resemblance to some found in Central Sahara, and also rock gongs believed to be more than 2,000 years old. Currently, not much is publicly known about this archaeological site. We have now come to the Common Era centuries, a period filled with the appearance of captivating kingdoms and empires. But one of the earliest notable events of this time were 3 expeditions by Roman explorers in search of gold in the Niger area between 50 AD and 90 AD. Meanwhile, Much later in the millennium, archaeological findings show traces of early Ijaw settlement in the Niger Delta area in the south around 700 AD, and the beginning of Yoruba civilization at Ile-Ife by 800 AD. Kanem-Bornu Empire is the first recorded empire in Nigeria. Located in northeast Nigeria, Kanem-Bornu is also considered one of the largest African empires. At its peak, the empire covered northeastern Nigeria, northern Cameroon, most of Chad, eastern Niger, and parts of southern Libya. Kanem-Bornu Empire began as the Kanem Empire around 700 AD. But in the 1380s, war with the Balarlar, Muslim people that lived in central Chad, forced them to move the capital down to Bornu in Nigeria, thus becoming the Kanem-Bornu Empire. The empire controlled the trans-Saharan trade route between Tripoli and the region of Lake Chad, and traded with North Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. In the 11th century, the king, Mehume, converted to Islam, and Kanem-Bornu became the first Islamic state in West Africa. By the 1890s, the empire had lost most of its territories to emerging empires in Chad and Sudan. Successor regimes of the empire, Borno Emirate and Dikwar Emirate, established around 1900, still exist today as traditional states within Nigeria. Over in southeastern Nigeria, we find the Kingdom of Inri, an organized society that exercised religious and political influence over a significant part of what is now known as Igbo land. The Kingdom of Inri is considered to have begun around 1,224 years ago, 800 AD. It practiced a decentralized state system, and the ruler, known as Eze Inri, had only religious power. One of the most impressive things about the kingdom is that unlike many African communities of that time, Inri did not practice slave ownership or trade. The kingdom served as a sanctuary for slaves, and any slave who set foot in Inri was considered free. The most intriguing details about the Inri civilization are from the archaeological discoveries at its capital, Igbo Ukwu. When Igbo Ukwu was excavated in the 20th century, archaeologists unearthed bronze artifacts so intricate and advanced that it rewrote what we knew about early African metallurgy. The bronze works, determined to have been produced with the lost wax casting process, are said to be among the most inventive and technically accomplished bronzes ever made. Artifacts discovered at the site include hundreds of high-quality copper, bronze, and iron antiques, 165,000 glass, carnelian, and stone beads, pottery, textiles, and ivory beads, cups, and horns. The Kingdom of Inri seemed to have persisted until the establishment of colonial Nigeria in 1911. It continues to exist as one of the traditional states within modern Nigeria. In the northern regions of Nigeria, the Hausa Kingdoms emerged around 900 AD, the result of the westward expansion of Hausa people, who settled between the Niger River and Lake Chad. The Hausa Kingdoms weren't so much an empire as a network of fiercely independent cities that included Canoe, Zaza, and Katsina. Islam was introduced to Canoe in the 14th century and subsequently to the other cities. The rulers built mosques and Muslim schools and brought in scholars from Egypt, Tunis, and Morocco. By the 15th century, the Hausa Kingdoms were massive trading centers that competed with Kanem-Bornu and the Mali Empire in exporting slaves, leather, gold, cloth, salt, kola nuts, animal hides, and henna. Fierce rivalries among the states caused them to constantly wage war on each other. And by the early 19th century, the kingdoms, worn out from constant internal wars as well as external ones, were conquered by Usman Dan Fodio and incorporated into the Sokoto Caliphate. The next kingdom to emerge around this time was in the west, the great kingdom of Ife, the spiritual home of the Yorubas and the first empire in Yoruba history. At its peak, Ife Kingdom encompassed Oyo in the north and Benin to its south. Ife is famous worldwide for its naturalistic bronze, stone, and terracotta sculptures. It flourished around 1100 AD as a significant part of the trans-Saharan trade. One of Ife's earliest trade routes, up the Niger to Gao in Mali, is said to have been active as early as the 9th century, and ancient glass beads produced in Ife have been found in Burkina Faso, Senegal, Mali, and Mauritania. Ife wasn't just a kingdom, it was a cultural renaissance. The art that came out of the kingdom was astonishing. The bronze and brass sculptures from Ife were so lifelike, so detailed, that when Europeans first saw them, they refused to believe Africans made them. Ife Kingdom also had stunning pieces in terracotta and stone that reflected their sophisticated understanding of religion, politics, and fashion. The decline of the Ife Kingdom is attributed to several factors, including internal crisis, political disturbances like the collapse of the Mali Empire, and an epidemic that might have been smallpox. Ile-Ife, its capital, still exists as a city in Osun State, Nigeria. The Benin Kingdom, also known as Great Benin, situated in southern Nigeria, is not to be confused with the modern-day country, Republic of Benin. Great Benin emerged around 1180 AD in the rainforest, in present-day Edo State. It was one of the oldest and most developed states in the coastal hinterland of West Africa, and a series of warrior kings expanded its territories to cover much of what is now Midwestern Nigeria. Its wealth grew through extensive trade, especially with the interior of the region, and at its peak, Benin dominated trade along the coastline from the western Niger Delta, through Lagos to almost Accra. Benin is mostly famous for its amazing art. The Benin bronzes, several thousand plaques and sculptures that hung at the royal palace of the king, carved to tell the story of Benin, its kings, its practices, and its military conquests. They were like the bronze version of Instagram. These plaques and statues were looted during the British expedition and are now scattered in museums around the world. A lesser-known fascinating historical fact about Benin Kingdom are the walls of Benin. These were a series of massive earthworks encircling Benin Kingdom. These structures were so extensive that they are considered the largest earthwork walls built with manual labor, that is, without the use of any modern earth-moving equipment or technology, in history. Their construction is said to have taken more than 600 years. The Benin Empire lasted until it was annexed by the British Empire following the infamous Benin Punitive Expedition of 1897. Benin City, the heart of the kingdom, continues to exist as the capital of Edo State in modern-day Nigeria. The Oyo Empire, located in present-day Oyo State, was famous for its cavalry, an army of horse-riding warriors that made them the supreme military force of the region. Oyo emerged around 1400 AD and grew to become the largest Yoruba-speaking state and one of the most politically important states in Western Africa. At its height, it ruled most of the other kingdoms in Yorubaland and nearby West African states, including the Kingdom of Dahomey in the modern-day Republic of Benin. Oyo was also a very wealthy empire. Most of the wealth came from the taxes imposed on conquered territories. But Oyo was also the southern center for the trans-Saharan trade in salt, leather, horses, cola nuts, ivory, cloth, and slaves, and it maintained taxes on all trade products going in and out of the empire. Oyo Empire declined as a result of political intrigues, secessions, and internal wars. Its vassal states took advantage of these to gain their independence from the empire. The monarchy continues to exist as one of the traditional states of contemporary Nigeria. So that was a brief overview of the timeline of Nigerian history before the modern period. Except for a couple of new empires that emerged after 1500 AD, the structure of the Niger area changed very little until the upheavals of colonization began. I hope to look at this period in another video soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.